Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 41st part of What If Deku Was a Magical Girl Mascot, Quirk, Magical Girl Mascot. The author of this great fan fic is Emma. I believe links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 41, Island Endings. They all looked at Wolfram. Izuku was getting a bad feeling from him. After all, it was rare for someone to have multiple quirks. He had them, but it was just part of his own quirk. How do you have more than one quirk? Asked Izuku. That's none of your business, said Wolfram. Izuku scowled. He tried to punch Kissy, but Kissy managed to dodge quite easily. Weird, she thought to herself. Wolfram scowled, realizing something. He wasn't used to his quirk. He then looked at the three students. And her smirked. Even if they seemed extremely powerful, they were still untiring. There was a chance that he could do something to them so he could get his hands on the device. However, he didn't know who was on his way up. At the same time, Melissa continued her call with All Might. She had told him about what her father had done, causing All Might to sigh heavily. Is he safe? Asked All Might. Right now, should I go to him? Asked Melissa. All Might was about to say something. I also bonded with Izuku, said Melissa. You are aware that it's, said All Might. Permanent. I do, sighed Melissa. All Might sighed. Also, Tenya is acting like a bodyguard, said Melissa. I see, replied All Might, but I should be there soon. Melissa nodded and ended the call. Wait a second, how were you able to get out your cell phone? Asked Achiko. What do you mean? Asked Melissa. You were able to get out your cell phone, thought Achiko. We really shouldn't be focusing on this right now, scolded Tenya. Tenya's right, pointed out Suyu. Wait until after we kick this guy's ass, agreed Katsuki. Come on, said Tenya. Melissa nodded and went to talk to her dad about what was going on. Back with the fight. Wolfram aimed a bunch right at Katsuki, who managed to dodge. She then delivered an explosive punch. He then had to dodge a stream of water from Shoto. However, as he dodged, he felt one of his feet slip out from under him. Whatever you were hoping to accomplish really isn't working, said Katsuki. Wolfram glared at them. However, he remembered something else he had. Did you forget what else I have? Said Wolfram. He took out a gun. I was so focused on fight you with my quirk that I had forgot about this, said Wolfram. Wow, that's dumb, said Katsuki. Kaken, mentally sighed Izuku. He has a gun, thought Shoto. I couldn't help it, thought Katsuki. Do we want to know what's going on? Asked Suyu. No, you don't, said thought Katsuki. At the same time, Melissa and Tenya made it to the computer control. Papa, said Melissa. Melissa, sighed David. All Might is coming, said Melissa. How? Said David. Melissa knew that she had to explain. It's Izuku's quirk, said Melissa. He's able to bond with people. The person he bonds with gained new abilities. That's what he did with me. David's eyes widened. The abilities I gained allows me to hack into any device I touch, said Melissa. You were the one who's been hacking into everything, realized David. Melissa nodded. Does it after to that outfit? Asked David. It is, said Melissa. Melissa isn't the only one that Izuku has bonded with, said Tenya. David realized that Tenya was referring to herself. I did this to help everyone I could, said Melissa. I didn't think it was me, said David. As they were talking, Sam decided to try to do something. However, he found himself being stopped by Tenya. "Where you think you're going?" asked Tenya. Sam gulped. Both Melissa and David saw this. "It's a good thing Tenya was here," said Melissa. "Yeah," said David. Back with the fight, all three heroes in training and Kissy all were standing there, trying to make sure he didn't shoot them. "Honestly," said Wolfram, "I should have done so from the beginning." "You're not going to win," said Kissy. "What, are you seriously doing this?" asked Wolfram. "Good always conquers evil," said Kissy. "Seriously?" asked Wolfram. "You got to believe in the power of love," said Kissy. "What is she doing?" mentally asked Katsuki. "I think she's distracting him," thought Izuku. Shoto noticed something and smirked. "So I guess that's it," thought Shoto. "What is?" asked Katsuki. But before Shoto could answer, "Oh, by the way, I'm distracting you," said Kissy. "What?" asked Wolfman. That was when Spider Legs kicked him from behind. Wolfram, however, quickly recovered. However, Spider Legs managed to stand up as tall as he could with his legs getting shot. However, it didn't do damage. "Special pants, bulletproof," said Spider Legs. Wolfram glared at the leg-based hero. Thanks to this, surprise, something pulled the gun away from his hand and he watched as it floated towards Izuku. "Be careful, it might be under his quirk," thought Katsuki. "It's not. I don't think he was thinking about that," thought Izuku. It would have done something already and he touched it order to activate it. Wolfram looked at the assembled heroes and hero students. However, things were about to get worse, for him that is. "You don't have to worry about this anymore," called out a voice. They all turned where the voice came from, and of course it was All Might. "Because I am here," voted All Might. Wolfram glared at the hero, however the hero just glared back. "He isn't smiling again," thought Izuku. "That asshat used his best friend. I'm not surprised he's angry. If a villain used you, I'd be just as mad, to be honest," thought Katsuki. Izuku nodded in agreement, knowing that she was right. If someone had used Katsuki like that, then he would be extremely angry. "So you escaped after all," muttered Wolfram. "You misjudged the next generation," said All Might, glaring at the villain. "That might be," muttered Wolfram right back. Wolfram focused all of his energy into his new quirk. He had to defeat All Might. After all, that was one of the reasons why he had his new quirk. He ran over and tried to punch All Might. However, All Might was able to take the punch. He then grabbed onto Wolfram's arm. Wolfram, on theory, the other hand, just smirked and told All Might something. All Might's eyes widened in horror at Wolfram told him what he was telling him. He then hit Wolfram hard, without calling none of his signature smash attacks. It was clear with even that new quirk, it was no match for All Might. Everyone stared at the downed villain. "Seriously?" yelled Katsuki. "What were you expecting, an epic rooftop battle?" said Shoto. "I don't know, maybe," said Katsuki. "Come on, kid," said Spider Legs, stretching his legs now that he was free. "You're still in training, you'll have plenty of awesome rooftop battle in the future." "I guess," muttered Katsuki. "This one just feels like it should have had an epic rooftop battle." Shoto melted the wall separating the fight from the rest of the room. "Toshi," said David, looking at his best friend. "Dave," sighed All Might. "Kissy, you should tie him and that tubby guy up," said Spider Legs. "What?" asked Kissy. "He thinks All Might and what's his name should talk things out in private," said Katsuki. Oh, said Kissy, "you know they could just go another room since we need to do clean up." This just made everyone else sweat drop. But All Might and David did leave the room to talk things out.
You didn't have to do this, said All Might.
But you're losing your powers, said David. You got injured fighting a teenaged girl.
A heroine in training, the next generation, said All Might.
He then deflated into his smaller form, knowing that couldn't hold on high muscle bond form much longer.
Besides, this plan started before you found out about the exam, pointed out All Might. David looked down. It's not just that, said All Might.
David didn't know about All Might's enemy in great detail, but he knew enough.
He's still alive, said All Might, and he had a hand in this. David paled when All Might said that.
What?
He said.
He wanted a hand in your downfall, even if it was small,
said All Might.
David gritted his teeth.
I will have to retire one day, sighed All Might, and I have accepted that a long time ago. David sighed. It's one of the reasons why I chose to become a teacher,
said All Might, to make sure that when I retire, the next generation of heroes are ready for everything, and it's the same for you.
What? Asked David. I've heard a lot of good things about Melissa, everything she's been working on, said All Might.
David sighed when he said that and thought back to all of the projects that his daughter was working on.
He had finally realized that All might be right.
Both of them were silent.
You know what I have to do, sighed All Might. I know, sighed David.
It was clear that All Might had to turn him in, and with everything that happened, David was oddly okay with that.
With Izuku's group, Melissa de-transformed. She looked at the necklace that appeared on her neck. So, said Melissa. Sorry I had to do that, said Izuku. It's fine, said Melissa. She sighed. Hey, what's wrong? Asked Izuku. Katsuki slapped Izuku on the back of the head. Isn't it obvious? Said Katsuki, it's because of her dad. I doubt All Might would just let him go,
said Shoto, even if they are friends.
Oh, right, said Izuku. Melissa sighed. Don't worry, when you need to talk we'll be there, said Izuku. Well, when Deku is able to activate it, muttered Katsuki. That was when the other arrived.
She looked at the others.
So how are you feeling? Asked Tsuyu. Okay, said Melissa. You don't have to lie, said Toru. She's right.
We're all partners now, even if we won't see each other often,
said Achiko. Melissa nodded. Over the course of the next few days, things were not well.
While the villains were all arrested, David was among those arrested. The expo was cancelled to the obvious reasons, but everyone stayed on the island until they could get home.
Thankfully, they didn't know if Izuku's telepathy had limits due to a vacation that the Bakugo family took when they were younger, which was also proven during a group chat that included Inko, who offered to help Melissa as much as she could. However, that wasn't the only thing that came about. All Might knew that he had to choose someone.
He had started a list of students who might make for a good choice. He had to stop procrastinating this decision, and would make the final decision when summer vacation was over. What happened at Island changed so much for everyone. But what they didn't know was something else was on the horizon, something far larger than what happened on Island. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 4. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.